You alright?
Hi there. Are you going out on a route?
No, I'm just gonna work it out.
Right, okay.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
I think all cars were supposed to be back by 12.
Were there? Right, I'll be as quick as I can.
Okay, cool. No worries.
There shall be no multiple takes for me today. Expect a lot of stuttering. So, is the the Dolphin Surf? Yes, the Build Your Dreams Dolphin Surf. That's a car, not a Make-A-Wish Foundation activity day. Although if you were going to make a wish for an electric runabout that's good looking and well equipped and has half decent battery range and is really cheap to buy, well, quite cheap to buy and really cheap to run, then the Build Your Dreams Dolphin. I am sorry. I'm sorry about that, Link. So, it's a little 4-seat, 5-door electric car whose price starts from less than £19,000, which for context is about half the price of the BYD Seal. Very impressive, eh? Although this car is available already in China, and over there it costs 1/3 of the price that it does here. Really, 6 grand, but let's just skip past that. What? Oh, you're not gonna let us skip past that. Yeah, fair enough. To be honest, it's not that deep. The Chinese version, proper rubbish. It's got less power, less stuff, a smaller battery, and if the safety people at Euro NCAP ever got their hands on it, they would laugh it out of their big warehouse where they crash all the cars. All of that stuff costs quite a lot to put right, as you can imagine, as does shipping the thing all the way over here and paying the taxes and stuff. I'm not saying it's right, but that's just the way it is. And the Dolphin Surf is still, in context, cheap. The thing is, we've been down this road before. Electric car turns up that's proper cheap and everyone goes, yay, game changer. Double thumbs up. But then they look at it closely and it sucks. I'm looking at you, Dacia Spring. The Spring here, 15 grand. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't seen one of these in the middle aisle at Aldi by now. It is cheap as off-brand potato chips. Sign me up. Except it's cheap because
it certainly does suck.
No, really.
So I'm told anyway. I haven't actually driven one. Probably never will now. But for every spring, there's a summer-ish car. Lots of them, in fact. Like this, or this, or this. Not you. So, is the Dolphin Surf more spring or no. Surf more spring or summer? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Autumn? No, that doesn't work. Let's just get on with it. Well, I don't know about suck. Stuck. Car launch in the middle of London. I mean, in fairness, this car is going to spend a lot of time in places like this. And it doesn't take long to figure out that they know that and they've set it up that way. This has clearly been designed to be as compact as possible, give you as good visibility as possible, and to be quite soft so that when you're marauding... We drive in towns and you're hitting potholes and stuff and the roads are just generally crap. It doesn't feel awful. It feels quite soft. And the other reason we're in London is presumably so that we can focus on all that stuff, on it being a city car, and not the battery range. Well, you cannot fool this guy. I am the George W. Bush of car reviewers.
Fool me once, shame on.
So, the drivetrain choice means that you can pick between 3, a not much range and not very quick one, a best range but not very quick one, and a slightly less good range but a bit quicker one. That's very clear what I've just said there. And each of those has a different level of equipment as standard. So it really depends what you want from your Dolphin Surf. Like if you'll only use it as a runabout thing to get to work and back every day, then the basic one will be perfectly adequate and very cost effective. But you will definitely want to spend a bit more if you're ever going to drive any sort of distance or ever going to use it for the transport of multiple people. On which, just how practical is this thing, really? Right, it does feel small. But it doesn't feel small like cramped. Driving position is dead good. Sits you high, but there's lots of headroom. There's a canny bit of steering wheel adjustment. And there's a canny bit of space in the back actually for a car that's so dinky. It feels spacious, but what you will notice is that it's thin. So I was driving with a friend before and felt like we were rubbing shoulders. And the other thing they've done, mostly, is made sure that there are plenty of places to put all of your crap. 20 of them, we're told, but 2 of them are the cup holders, and I'm guessing one of them is this mobile phone charging pad. Aye, let's count them. this big trough here, 16, 17, where's the rest of them? I don't care. But I do care about the fact that there's no box under the little elbow pad thing where there's normally a box in most cars in the center console bit, because that is where you throw most of your stuff, right? You lift the thing up and you throw the things in. Probably not something to get as wound up about as I just did, but it will be proper vexing, especially when BYD's going, oh, it's got 20 storage spaces and we really thought about this sort of stuff. Anyways, let's move on to cabin quality. Overall, it feels quite old school. Feels like the sort of stuff that Suzuki was doing 20 years ago in a quite endearing way, but it's the sort of car that I bet you, if you watch other reviews, they'll do this. And they'll talk about hard, scratchy plastics. But it's soft in all the right places. So like that's soft and so is that. So you can rest your elbows there and drive like this if you want to. Not that you should, but you can. So these look like a pair of Android screens. That's a tablet. That's a mobile phone turned on its side. And the graphics are like proper 80s LCD style. It's quite charming. But all of this will be fairly meaningless if it is absolutely awful to drive. And as I'm sure you're gathering, it very easily could be. So, it has clearly been designed to be at home in the city, and it does have that feeling of being a little bit old school, which I like. It feels a bit bouncy. It feels like they spent 95% of the development time in a proving ground with potholes dug out of it. So I bet you it rolls left and right all over the shop. In fact, it does. But that's quite cool because it gives you that sense of old school comfort, like little crappy hatchbacks used to feel. There's bounce everywhere. It's quite nice. And the steering, like, it's a bit slack. So yeah, I would like it to be a bit sharper, but then there's so much body roll in this thing that if it was, it would just make the car feel like it was constantly swaying left and right. It would probably feel less like you were steering and more like you were moving a boat around. And by default, electric cars are so well suited to this sort of environment, even quite slow ones like this. So you're just crawling along and you need to move quickly because a bus has slammed its brakes on in front of you, and you do this. Oh, wow. I made an assumption there. That was quite a big gap. There's a mode button here. I'm presuming that gets me into sport. There we go, right? Okay, so I've stopped. I need to get around this traffic quite quick. Let's see. I'm in sport mode. That's still quite lackluster. But it does feel pokey anyway. My dad used to say that. Oh, it's got plenty of poke. And it'll be cheap to run too. So if you buy the version with a little battery, you will be connected to a cable more frequently than a bungee instructor. That's just a fact because its official range is just 137 miles. A bit crap, that, isn't it? So according to this readout, this car is doing 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is really efficient. At 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour, you're actually going to get around 150 miles if you just stay around town. And so if you're on an EV charging tariff at home with cheap overnight electricity, you could be paying less than 2 pence per mile. Amazing. Overall, I think they've got this right. The caveat, obviously, is that I haven't been anywhere near a motorway or anywhere near 50 in this. I'm not going to pretend I know what it's like. I expect that there's a lot of wind noise as the air smacks into this brickish thing. I expect that between 50 and 70 it doesn't really feel like it has much energy. But again, that's not what it's made for, is it? The fact that it feels a bit like old school and slightly ropey, I like that. And it's not as if it's scrimped on like equipment either. You get loads of stuff in the top one anyway. Yeah, equipment. You're obviously not going to get an excess of technology and comfort stuff in this car, but it's safe, and the central touchscreen spins 90 degrees so you can use it either portrait or landscape. That's a thing that all BYDs do. And a couple of the standard fit items are slightly eye-raising in a car like this. So as standard, you get rear parking sensors, keyless entry and start, which is one of the greatest modern car conveniences in my opinion. Adaptive cruise control, that's standard too, and also the bright neon paint that you see here. And definitely do get it in a bright colour, right? Because this thing loses loads of its character when it's painted black. See? And it's mainly because it loses a lot of the design detail when it's painted this colour, like this bit at the side and the quote floating roof bit behind the rear doors. All day long, this is a 3-star car. It's an average car, but at least they are focused on the things that are actually important. Effortless to drive around town, and it's comfy and it looks decent, and it's got quite a lot of space, and it has a passable rear boot hole, like not massive, but good enough for a car this size, and quite cheap to buy and very cheap to run. Job done. Just not done quite as well as the job that Hyundai done.
Oh, it's Hyundai, by the way.
With the Insta, but much better than the job Dacia did with the spring.
No, really.
So there you go, thank you for watching. I'm going to be doing plenty more stuff soon, so if you want to see it, please hit subscribe, it helps me out. And if you got all the way here, thank you for a start, and maybe let me know by writing surf dolphin in the comments. You're doing great. Bye then.
Keep eyes on road.
I'm going to get that a lot.
Keep eyes on road.
It's got very aggressive eye tracking software, this. I guess it's this camera here. So as I'm talking to you, it's going to say, keep your eyes on the road, you're not concentrating, which is good, I suppose. I can feel a keep eyes on road supercut coming on. And the steering, oh man, seriously, stop fucking bombing at me. Like on a racetrack, which is soft, so you can have both your elbows there and drive like you. But then they look at it proper.
Keep eyes on road.
So, is the surf dolphin...
Keep eyes on road. Keep eyes on road. Keep eyes on road.
I'm just going to have to talk to you like this, as though you don't exist. Or is it somewhere in the middle? Autumn.